Hi everyone, it's Miss Story. I'm here to read some more of Fish in a Tree for you guys. Today we're reading chapters 20 through 24. So let's get started. Chapter 20. Is this a good thing? I hear the front door slam and Travis call for me. He sounds happy. I mean, really happy. And he appears in the doorway of my room. Guess what? What? I ask, but he doesn't answer. He just stands there with a big dumb grin on his face. And then I notice what he has in his hands, and I jump up. You got it? Really? He doesn't answer. He just shakes the keys like a baby rattle. So we run outside, and sitting there at the curb is a surprise, but not the kind of surprise I'd hoped for. I know it doesn't look like much, but he's wrong. It looks like a lot. It's enormous and bright green. I mean, seriously, it's like a pickle with tires. No, I say, it's cool. You can't lie to me, Squirt. I know you too well. Why are there lines on it? I asked, leaning in. Oh, well, I guess the guy that had the car painted it with a brush instead of a spray gun. I'll have to sand that out and then strip the chrome on the other side. But the engine is good. It's going to fly. The only thing that was going to fly is if he straps it to a giant balloon. A sketchbook picture is already drawing itself in my head. And there are no computers in the car like this old one, just a man and his machine. I look up. Is that really a good thing? He shoves me a little. You'll love it when it can take us places, to the beach and Six Flags. I look up quick. Really? Wherever you want to go, Squirt. I never imagined that this car would be our car, but that he would take me places. You want to take it out with me now? Sure. Am I pushing or am I pulling? You're going to be sorry you dissed this beauty. I'm telling you, you've got to be loyal to your car. Travis, you do know it's only a car, right? Only a car, he asks. Only a car. And he runs to the other side and slides in. He unlocks the door for me and I get in too. It's a big bench seat. The Walking Liberty $50 hangs in his rearview mirror. It makes me feel like Grandpa and Dad are with us. When he turns on his engine, it sounds like a giant with a bad cough. We head up Farmington Ave past St. Thomas's Church. It has been raining all morning and now it's starting again. Big drops of rain fall on the windshield like bombs. Travis says bad words, pull over, and grabs a silver spring and a piece of wet rope from the glove compartment. What are you doing? He jumps out of the car, grabbing the windshield wiper on my side and connecting it to something on the bottom of the window with a spring. And then he ties the wiper to the second wiper and throws the rope through the window and jumps in, laughing and dripping wet. What the heck are you doing? I ask. 3 hours, he says. What are you talking about? 3 hours after this thing was registered this morning, the wiper motor went. So I went by the hardware store and I rigged this up. Watch. With his left arm, he pulls the rope and the wipers clear the window of water. And when he lets go, the spring yanks them back down, slapping them at the bottom of the window. Hey, I thought you said you were a genius. I joke. I am. All geniuses deal with bugs in the system. Isn't this more like what anteaters do? Hilarious, he laughs. Isn't it a little hard to drive and do that? You're right, Squirt. You could do the wipers, he says, throwing the rope into the back seat. Climb over and sit behind me. Okay, I say, climbing over the seat. I give the rope a pull and let it go, and the wipers slap up and down. It's kind of fun to see the wipers clear the window and make the blurry clear, but I think about what a great drawing this will be later, and I'm happy for the weird pickled colored car. Wow, this is fun and hard, I tell Travis, my arm's getting tired. He watches me in the rearview mirror and laughs. I laugh too, and it makes me pull the rope even harder. We pull up to a red light, and Travis tells me to look at the face of the lady riding in the car next to us, and I do. She looks shocked, and I think her expression is the funniest thing I've ever seen, until I see Shay sitting next to her. As soon as Mr. Daniel steps into the hallway to talk to another teacher, Shay says in her head, I'm being loud on purpose so everyone can hear me voice. So, Jessica, yesterday I saw Allie riding in a disgusting green-colored car that I can't believe even is allowed on the road. Allie had to pull a rope just to get the windshield wipers to work. You must be joking, says Jessica. Allie, what junkyard did you find that heap in? Jessica laughs like she's supposed to, and I try to ignore them. My mom has always said to just ignore mean people because they only try to get a rise out of you. I mean, what kind of loser would have a car like that? Probably the only thing your mom can afford. Finally, I can't take it. It's my brother Travis's car, and it's not a loser car. Oh no, it's a loser car, all right, and I guess that makes your brother Travis a loser. They laugh. I didn't think there could get any bigger loser than you, Allie, but I guess I was wrong, Shay says. Shut up, I say, just as Mr. Daniels walks back in. You're the losers. You, not him. Allie, Mr. Daniels calls. Come here. What? I ask, trying not to sound disrespectful, but I end up being. I haven't known you to call name before. They can call me anything they want, and believe me, they do, but they just can't say that about Travis. Never. Is Travis your older brother? He's my big brother, and he half smiles. Is there a difference? Yeah, there is a difference. An older brother is older. A big brother looks out for you and smiles when you walk into a room. He nods slowly. I see. I understand you're upset, and I appreciate that you're defending your brother, but walk away next time, okay? I nod, and I have to admit that I'm getting awfully tired of walking away. Chapter 21, Butterfly Wishes. Our classroom is brainstorming ideas for a community service project. Shay raises her hands. I'm having a birthday party and inviting everyone, but I don't want to leave anyone out. How does this relate to our community service project? Keisha asks, and the whole class waits for an answer. Well, it's about community. It's about everyone being involved. Yeah, right, Keisha whispers to me. Mr. Daniels compliments Shay on inviting everyone and moves on quickly. Later, as we get our stuff for lunch and recess, Shay speaks to Jessica in her loud voice. I'm so mad my mother's making me invite everyone. And then she looks directly at Keisha and me and says, I hope some people know better than to actually show up. My mom insists I go to Shay's party, even after I tell her that Shay is mean, and my mom asks, well, there will be other kids there, right? You might actually have fun. Albert grabbed his invitation from the mailbox before his mother saw it. Keisha's family is visiting her grandmother, so I'm alone. At lunch, I ask Albert and Keisha about some diseases I can use as an excuse not to go. How about the bubonic plague, otherwise known as the Black Plague? Albert asks. Keisha almost spits out her milk. Seriously? That might be a bit much, I say, but then I begin to wonder, what does it look like anyways? Oh well, fevers, chills, cramps, seizures, toes, fingers, and nose and lips turn black because the cells die, and then you'd likely spit blood. Albert, Keisha says, that's nuts. She can be sick like a normal person, you know. Cough, runny nose, sound familiar? That's fine, he says, and he takes a bite of his sandwich. It just seems interesting, that's all. Shay's party is at the Butterfly Gardens, and when I arrive, I recognize some girls from other classes. They're all wearing friendship bracelets. Jessica wears even more now, and I still ache to have some, and I wonder if Keisha would like a bracelet like that. Soon we're lined up and brought to the main butterfly garden, which is a clear plastic tent set up inside a bigger room. The tent is filled with plants and flowers, and flying around are tons of butterflies. People stand there as the butterflies land on them, and you can feel how happy people are just by watching their eyes. Before we enter the tent, the lady talks to us about the butterflies. She tells us about their patterns and to look for ones with giant dots on each wings. They are adaptations to scare other animals into thinking they are eyes, so other animals will think they're bigger and more dangerous and leave them alone. I wish I could do this with Shay, and that Albert could do this with those boys. She reminds us not to grab the butterflies because they are injured easily. We're supposed to stand and let them come to us, and the lady points to me and says, they'll love your orange shirt. She's right. Butterflies do come to me. Their colors and patterns make me wonder why I haven't been drawing butterflies. They don't fly like birds. Instead, they kind of fly all over the place. It makes me wonder if I'm part butterfly. And I put my arms out like a tree, and one, then two land on my arm. I love them. I never knew before how much I love butterflies. And I think about the story Albert told us in social studies when we were studying Native Americans. He said that they believed butterflies were special creatures and wish givers, and that if you catch a butterfly and whisper your deepest wish to it, then it will then set it free, and it will carry your wish to the spirits, who will grant the wish. I would never grab a butterfly, but once again, my hands do things without my say-so. When a beautiful, bright orange and black one lands on my hands, I loosely close my fist around it. And then my thinking part steps forward and quickly realizes what I've done. I open my hand, and the butterfly zigs and zags before landing on the ground. The lady who gave us the directions is next to me in a second. "Oh no, what have you done?" she asks. I want to explain about wish givers, but Shay and the others appear. It figures it was Allie. She probably killed it, and everyone knows you can't touch a butterfly's wings. "I didn't kill it. I mean, I would never hurt it. I had a wish, and I thought..." The girls laugh. "Such a freak show," Shay says. Suki rushes to the butterfly to try and help it, but a woman runs over and tells her to step back. "Who are you with?" the woman asks me. Shay's mother steps forward. "She's with us, but she's not my daughter. She's part of my daughter's party." I wish my own mother were here. She'd understand. I felt terrible watching the butterfly in the ground and flapping its wings and not going anywhere. I know that feeling. The first butterfly lady wears white gloves as she puts the injured one in a box and says, "At least its wings aren't torn." And the second lady stares at me like I'm a ruthless butterfly hunter. I want to say I'm sorry, but I forget to because I've been watching mind movies of butterflies falling and never getting better. And then the movie is filled with the butterflies that are all falling like rain, and I feel sad as I did when I watched the real one fall. Suki comes over. "I know you didn't hurt the butterfly on purpose." "Thanks," I mumble. She's right, but it was still my hand. I guess I just had to make that wish. Sometimes a person will do just about anything for a wish to come true. Chapter 22. No way to treat a queen. Later I try to call Albert, but a recording says that the number is no longer in service, and I worry that he had to move away or something. And when I see him at school on Monday, I'm so relieved, and I run up to him. "Albert, is it true that if you touch a butterfly wings, you can keep it from flying ever again? You can basically kill it?" A rather curious question for such a cold day. In temperatures such as these... "Albert, just tell me, yes or no?" "No, it is a myth that you render a butterfly unable to fly by touching its wings. The powdery residue on their wings is actually scales. They shed these scales on a regular basis, so merely touching them is okay. You only injure butterflies if the butterfly wings are torn." I remember how the lady said that wings weren't torn, and I hug Albert, but I realize what I'm doing. His surprised expression is so hilarious, like Einstein himself just told him that Earth is not round but instead the shape of a spoon. "Nice shirt, Albert. Is that new?" Shay laughs at her own comment. Before he can answer, she draws her fingers down on her one sleeve. "I got a new sweater. It's purple, which is the color of royalty," she says, looking directly at me. "That's why it's my favorite." I wonder what she wants from us, and I hate that I never know what to say to her, and I come up with a great comeback for the next morning, hunched over my bowl of cereal. "Indeed, purple is the color of royalty," Albert tells Shay. Yes, it is." Her voice sing-songy and makes me wish that she could eat paste. "You two are just so uncouth." She turns to me. "I bet Allie doesn't even know what the word uncouth even means. Do you?" "I know what uncouth means," Albert says. "I know something else too. Only an uncouth person would wear snail snot." And she looks at us like we were wearing it. "You say purple is the color of royals," he says. "They only wore purple because it was the most difficult and expensive color to make. In medieval times, they needed to collect 3,000 snails to have them make enough slime to make one cloak. So, good for you. I'd prefer beige." And he turns to me. "What about you, Allie? Slime or beige?" Oh, I'd have to go for beige. I try not to smile as much as I want to, and I try to keep my voice from sounding happy as it is, because the look on Shay's face when she looks down at her new sweater, like she was actually covered in snail slime, is unforgettable. Chapter 23. Words that breathe. Monday is vocabulary day, when Mr. Daniels goes over the new word for the week. As far as reading lessons go, this isn't so bad. All I have to do is listen as he tells us the word's meaning so I can actually remember it, because I make mind movies of each one, and that helps me remember. I've always had one important rule in the classroom, which is to try to lie low. And if I'm called upon, I'll say, "I don't know," even if I do. And I discover that giving a teacher an answer makes them expect more from me, and that everyone gets disappointed. And if they never get an answer from me, then they stop asking. But today, during vocabulary instruction, Mr. Daniels brings up two words, alone and lonely. He asks for volunteers to explain the difference between the two. It's like my arm doesn't belong to me and it goes up. Mr. Daniels stops mid-sentence and looks at me. Yes, Allie? What have I done? I try to figure out what I should say, maybe ask to go get a drink, but the thing is, something deep inside of me really does want to answer. Because I'm an expert on these two words. I know what they mean, and I know how they feel. Because after that butterfly party, that's how I felt. Mr. Daniels' eyes are wide, and they're waiting for me. Allie, he says, it's okay now, take your time. And it's like he can see right into my guts, knows how sad I am, like he's handing me a flashlight in a dark room. I lock eyes with Mr. Daniels, and I forget anyone else is even there. I say, well, alone is a way to be. It's being by yourself with no one else around. And it can be good or bad, and it can be by a choice. When my mom and brother are both working, I am alone. But I don't mind it. I swallow hard and shift to my seat. But being lonely is never a choice. It's not about who you're with or who you're not with. You can feel lonely when you're alone, but it's the worst kind of lonely is when you're in a room full of people, but you're still alone. Or you feel that you are anyways. I look at Mr. Daniels. He has his hands stuffed in his pockets and his face looks sad. And I try to remember what I said, but speaking in class has made me so nervous that my mind is doing its Etch-a-Sketch thing again. Unable to play my words back. What did I say? Why does he look like that? Staying quiet and having people think you're stupid is better than talking and having people know for sure. Mr. Daniels says my name. Huh? No one laughs, not even Shay or Jessica. Well, he says, if I had a trophy to give out for the best answer of the year, I'd give it to you for that. And he throws his hands up to celebrate. That was, well, excellent. And I stare at my desk wondering why he would say that. Allie? I look up. Thanks, I say, feeling like I have to move, to leave. Why is he acting like I won the Brain Olympics? Just because I answered a question. Can I please go to the bathroom now? Mr. Daniels seems confused. Yeah, sure, Allie, go ahead. And when I stand, Shay squints at me and shakes her head. She doesn't even have to say anything, and my brain plays the things that she would say. Even when I do something right, I feel like I've done something wrong. If I were a coin, I'd be a wooden nickel. Chapter 24, Imaginary Hero. Mr. Daniels asks us to write about our favorite fictional character, a person we consider to be a hero, and be ready to tell the class who it is. It's funny how much trouble Albert has with it. He tells Mr. Daniels that looking up to a character isn't real and is illogical, but Mr. Daniels tells him that it would be good for him, which confuses the heck out of Albert. He mumbles all the way back to his seat. Albert never mumbles. He either talks or he doesn't. Oliver is in his seat listing the names of every superhero I've ever heard of. Superman, Captain America, Batman. He looks upset when he turns to Suki nearby. Is Robin a superhero? I mean, his outfit isn't scary at all, and he has no superpowers, but Batman doesn't really either. But at least Batman can drive a Batmobile and fly the Batplane. Robin just rides along. I don't think I'd want to just ride along. What do you think? Suki opens up her mouth, but nothing comes out. It doesn't matter because Oliver has moved on. Spider-Man, maybe I'll write about him. And he holds his palm to Suki's face. He shoots webs, and he swings from buildings. That would be the best. Hey, freak, Shay whispers, glancing over at Mr. Daniels, who is working with someone at his desk to make sure he can't hear. We don't need to hear every weird thought in your tiny little brain. We're trying to work. Oliver's face is unmoving until he says, if I were Aquaman, I would summon the piranhas to take you away. You could be their queen. Keisha starts laughing, and Mr. Daniels finally looks up. Keisha? She put her arms down on the desk and leans her forehead against it, trying to stop laughing. The more she tries, the more Shay glares. With Mr. Daniels watching, most everyone goes back to their work. After a while, even Keisha does. But I keep looking around the room. I love how Albert can't choose one character while Oliver wants to write about everyone. However, I don't love how much trouble I'm having writing about my character. It makes me wish that I were a fictional character. When Mr. Daniels calls me back up to his desk, he's holding my paper. A teacher holding my paper is rarely a good thing, but Mr. Daniels doesn't cover my paper with red ink like other teachers. They used to look like they were bleeding. Mr. Daniel has written in green, and he apologized for not being able to read my writing. He says that my character sounds really interesting, but he'd like to know a bit more. Will you read this aloud for me? Uh-oh. I take it and squeeze my eyes into slits, trying to read my own writing. And I wait for him to pressure me to try harder, to do something I can't do. He slides the paper out of my hand. Well, he says, why don't you just tell me instead of reading it? First of all, tell me your person's name. I feel such a relief, and I'm afraid to blink. I hate this pressure, but this time I've been saved. I keep my voice down so that no one can hear. It's Roy G. Biv. Oh, wait, he says, like the color of the rainbow? I nod. He stares. Before he can tell me I've messed up the directions, I say, you said fictional, and I figured you meant a book character like from Alice in Wonderland. But Roy isn't real, and there isn't any other characters that mean so much to me. And I love the colors, and I use them in my art, and my art is the only thing I stop before I confess feeling like a failure to everything else. That's clever, Allie, he tells me. I actually like that you chose someone who isn't a book character exactly. You think outside of the box. I see a mind movie of me standing outside a huge glass box and everyone else inside, together. Do you know what it means to think outside of the box? He asks. I shake my head. It means that you're a creative thinker. You think differently than other people. Great. Just once I want to be told like I'm everybody else. It's a good thing to be out of the box thinker. People like that are world changers. Wait. His face doesn't look like it's a bad thing. Is this like setting the world on fire, I ask, smiling a bit. Exactly that, he nods. Then he stares at me long enough for me to wonder what he's thinking before sending me back to my seat. The next day, when it's time to tell the class who my character is, I begin by asking everyone what their favorite color is. It's fun. I think it's part of being a teacher would be cool. I'd rather eat crayons than do the rest of it, though. I take out a color wheel that I made at home. It's white cardboard that I've broken down into 7 pie-shaped pieces. I figured out that each angle has to be 51 degrees to have 7 equal pie pieces. I used Travis's protractor to draw the lines exactly. Then I colored each section with a different Roy G. Biv color, and I made them really dark. What color do you get if you mix all the colors together, I asked. Most kids guess dark colors. My favorite color is white, because it's a mixture of all the colors. Albert nods a little. Shay tells everyone that it makes no sense, but I know the answer. If you mix paint together, that's true. But if you're talking about just colors, pure in nature, they make white when mixed together. I brought this wheel to prove it. I feel like a magician, and I show them the wheel with all of its colors, and then I stick a paper clip that I've unbent through the hole in the center and spin it like a wheel. It turns white as I spin fast. As it slows down, the colors reappear. Jessica leans in. That's pretty cool. Shay looks at her with her squinty eyes until Max agrees, and then she nods and agrees too. Are you going to give that away? Oliver asks. I hesitate. I wasn't going to, and I look down at it, but I guess I could. You like that, huh, Oliver? Mr. Daniels asked. I'd give it to my bus driver. She likes things with rainbow colors. Well, that's very thoughtful of you, Oliver, Mr. Daniels says. I sit down at my desk thinking about whether I should give the colored disc to Oliver. Jessica and Shay are talking behind me. Can I have another bracelet? Jessica asks Shay. I don't think so. I can hardly keep up with all of the people wanting them. Besides, you already have enough. Well, I wouldn't mind another. There is a pause, and I want to turn around, but I'm not supposed to be listening in. Listen, Shay says. You have 7 already. I have other orders to fill first. And besides that, you still owe me $3 for the last one. And I'm not giving you another one until you pay me what is already on your wrist. Wait, I rip around. I can't help it. You charge your friends for friendship bracelets? Eavesdrop much? Yeah, so what? You want one? Jessica leans forward. Wait, you're going to give her one? No, idiot. I'm not going to give her one. She's going to pay me. But you know what? Allie should pay more. A lot more. $10, she says as she turns to me. I laugh. No thanks. I'd rather wear handcuffs. And I can't believe Shay charges her friends for something that's supposed to stand for loyalty and friendship. And I can't believe they pay. You're such a dope, Allie Nickerson, Shay says. And I look over at Keisha and Albert and realize that I've been lucky all along, and I didn't see it. And that's it.